So this is Mike Wilder from Wisconsin Jobs Now, and he's going to give us a presentation this evening. Welcome, Mike, and thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for having me. Because everyone can hear me all right, correct? I'm thinking that they can, so I'm going to keep rolling. Well, first of all, my name is Mike Wilder. I'm really glad that everyone is able to join in on this webinar. Very exciting time right now. I don't know if anyone heard the news today, but many grassroots North Shore members were out at the Milwaukee County Courthouse today. We made history. We passed a living wage resolution that would apply to contracts in Milwaukee County. This was a hard-fought, year-long campaign. We were very glad and pleased with the outcome. We got a veto-proof majority for that. So as we see around the country, not only in New Jersey, where they voted to raise their minimum wage through a referendum, or in Seattle, Washington, have $15 an hour minimum wage at CTEC. We see a worker uprising in the country, and that is actually taking Wisconsin by storm with the living wage ordinance passing today at the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors. Very historic vote today, and we are going to keep the ball rolling by telling state legislature and Governor Walker that we need to raise up Wisconsin. Wisconsin needs to have to at least 10.10 an hour. We believe that that is a good start, but we need to talk about the issues of inequality and how they are plaguing not only the city of Milwaukee, but the entire state of Wisconsin. So I'll get started. Did everyone hear that feedback? I'm wondering if is this better?
Yes.
Let me try to put some headphones in to reduce the feedback. Can everyone still hear me?
Yes.
All right. Raise Up Wisconsin. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first question I like to ask, I know we're not in school right now, but it's still fun. What's the best way to boost Wisconsin's economy? And you got four choices. We have A, cut taxes for the rich. B, reduce the deficit. C, eliminate regulations. Or D, raise wages. All right, we're going to get the problem solved with my mic here.
Your line is now unmuted. Your line is now unmuted.
All right, can people hear me now?
All right, can people hear me now?
I can't stop the echo.
I can't stop the echo.
Can someone give me some pointers on that?
Can someone give me some pointers on that?
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and roll with it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and roll with it.
Difficulties.
We apologize for the technical difficulties.
Yes, D.
Yes, D.
Now, in addition to D, I did see some very, very good responses that I would have to agree with, including the one from Linnea. Thanks for answering. We do need to elect a new governor. But we definitely need to raise wages. Basic economics says that jobs don't pay enough for workers to meet their basic needs without public assistance. Basic economics also say that when jobs don't pay enough, workers can spend it on the economy growing. And it also says that higher wages increase consumer spending that creates more jobs. All of that's true. And as we're seeing in the city of Milwaukee and other places that are impoverished, there are so many folks who cannot even meet the basic needs without having to rely on public assistance. And that is something that we want to change. We need the economy to work for everybody, not just the top 1%. And that's what's been going on lately, especially here in the state of Wisconsin. We see huge profitable corporations that are benefiting from, many of which are benefiting from taxpayers' incentives or taxpayer dollars, and they are not giving the money back to the people who will spend it.
And they are not,
Mike?
giving the money back to the people who will spend it.
Yes.
Mike, I think you're better off without the headset.
No, I don't have the headset anymore.
Yes.
Mike, I think you're better off without the headset.
No, I don't have the headset anymore. I don't have the headset anymore.
Okay.
We'll figure this out. Is it under speaker options?
Okay. No, it's not.
We'll figure this out. Is it under speaker
not,
options?
It's not web meeting, any meeting. It's something that's happening on your end.
Okay. Panel here. Sorry about the delay, everyone.
Okay, Mike, try again.
How about now? Is that better? Okay. I think we're good. Yay. We got no echo now. Thank you. So the reality of the situation is wages are way too low. They're way too low for folks that live in poverty in the state of Wisconsin, many in rural communities as well as urban communities like Milwaukee. The median income in America, adjusted for inflation, has declined about 13% over the last 4 decades. The purchasing power of the federal minimum wage, which was actually acknowledged by the president of the MMAC, he also said that the purchasing power is felt even in the business world. The business community knows themselves that folks cannot buy enough to keep our economy thriving at the level we want it to, because the purchasing power of the federal minimum wage has gone down. It's not the same. It's $3 less as it was in 1968. So if we look ahead, we're looking at a situation in which poverty is only going to increase unless people are making enough to support themselves without public assistance. And by support, I mean pump money into our local economy at the local mom and pop grocery store. I mean purchasing from your local business owner. These are the things that keep our economy growing to whereas we have folks that are able to survive and have economic security for their families. So let's ask ourselves how this happened. Corporation held down wages, and workers fell behind while profits soared. We're seeing that inequality has increased in this country. That doesn't mean that everybody just went poor. In 2008, since what we call now the second Great Recession, when President Obama took office, he took office in the worst economy this country's ever seen since the Great Depression under President Roosevelt. But profits have soared. That has not hurt corporate profits, and now the top 1% hold as much wealth as the bottom 90. This is in the richest nation in the world, by the way. This is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, and a nation in which everyone has a shot at the American dream, no matter where you're born. So union membership is now at an all-time low. We're looking at union membership now at 12% and 7% in the public and the private sector. And laws such as Wisconsin's Act 10 really damages that number even further, because we're seeing so many good paying union jobs lose union membership, and workers lose power in the workplace because of folks like Governor Walker making laws that would discourage union membership, cutting unions at the knees as much as possible in order to help friends of his like Diane Hendricks. We have a shrinking middle class. As I mentioned before, inequality growing at the rate it is growing. The middle class can only sustain so much. These are the hardworking folks that help our economy thrive, and they are seeing their wealth decrease while the wealth at the top is increasing. So here's the things that we can do. We can increase the federal and state minimum wage, which is exactly what this webinar is all about. We need to get behind Representative Corey Mason's bill at the state level that would increase minimum wage to a level of 1010 and be indexed to inflation. Because, I hear so many people say that, well, if we raise the minimum wage, everything's going to go up. Well, everything's going to go up anyway, whether you raise the wage or not. The price of milk has gone up. The price of eggs have gone up since I was in college, which wasn't too much long ago. I'm seeing that the basic needs that we all have to survive are going up. So we need to raise the state and federal minimum wage for folks to keep up. We can also do what we did today, institute local living wage ordinances. And now the living wage ordinance is in the hands of County Executive Chris Abley. We want him to support that living wage. He needs to sign it into law. We did get a veto-proof majority, but we need to let County Executive Chris Abley know that those are the people that got him in office. Those people are the people that need him to vote in favor of the living wage ordinance in Milwaukee County. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. We need to also call on governments to use their purchasing power to incentivize higher wages and support and form unions, and say no to trickle-down policies. Trickle-down policies have only helped the richest few in this country since President Ronald Reagan. So folks say raising the minimum wage to $10 an hour, it's going to cripple our economy, it's going to damage our economy, because jump that businesses will not be able to keep up. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. Raising the minimum wage would add raising the minimum wage to just $9 an hour, for example, would add $21 billion to the economy and lead to 120,000 new jobs. So imagine what something like $15 an hour can do, which is not too much farther than what we're asking for, but it's something that we need. Quote, a great quote: the more people make, the better their lives are going to have, and the better consumers they're going to be. And that's Costco founder Jim Sneagle. And the Costco model should be used around the country, because his employees are retained for a very long time because they're paid livable wages. The quality of their work is excellent. They're able to organize in their workplace for better wages, better pay, better benefits. and their average wage is the livable wage for folks to survive without the use of public assistance. His model should be used in the place of models such as Walmart. That is a model that is damaging our economy and causing more people to remain in poverty. So let's tackle the myth. Increasing wages will cause job loss. So historically, unemployment has declined following the minimum wage increases in the 60s and 70s. That's declined. And in places like Milwaukee, it definitely did that with our factory jobs. Those jobs were not good jobs at first, but folks were able to gain those jobs, gain power in their workplaces through those jobs, and as a result, gain economic security for their families from those jobs. And we're not seeing those jobs being created any longer. So we have to make sure that the jobs that are being created, especially ones with our money, with taxpayer dollars, are good jobs. So another myth, raising wages hurts mom and pop's businesses. As I mentioned before, raising wages does the exact opposite of hurting mom and pop's businesses. We are now subsidizing profitable corporations. Corporations are getting tax breaks, and with those tax breaks that are used from our money, they are paying their workers poverty wages. Look at these corporate profits. They've soared over the years. These are the numbers from 2011. We are not in 2010. We're not in 2014, and we're seeing them soar even more. These are the big players in the fast food industry, an industry that we've also been working a year to try to unionize. This is an industry that's only going to grow. These are jobs that are only going to be in the United States. We know they won't be outsourced. We have to make sure that they're good paying jobs because since the 2008 recession, unfortunately, the jobs that we are traditionally looked at as the good jobs, they're no longer here. So another myth, most fast food workers are teenagers. How many of you all know that the median age of fast food workers is 28 years old? I don't guess too many people knew that. Now, back in the day, these were jobs for teenagers. And in an ideal world, they probably should be jobs for teenagers. But the reality of the situation is these folks take pride in their jobs. They work day and night. They take the bus to many of these jobs. These are their livelihoods. This is how they survive, and this is how they raise their families off of these jobs. So I think that valuing these jobs as jobs that we can allow our economy to flourish through is what we need to do. I am a 2007 graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, so I will not say that an education is not important. But one of the biggest myths that I hear is that more education will solve this problem. Let me tell you why this is not true. Only 20% of current jobs require a bachelor's degree. Fewer jobs than are needed. Low-wage workers, about 35% of low-wage workers in Milwaukee have a college degree. So education is very important, and I'm definitely going to always tell folks to strive for good quality education. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that jobs are available for people with a good education. And if the jobs that are available are the jobs that are of low wage, we need to make sure those jobs are able to pay enough to survive. So as we've seen today, workers are rising up. Our moment at the Milwaukee County Courthouse, and workers across the country have been taking action. It's not just happening here, as I mentioned, New Jersey, Seattle. We're seeing so many states considering, minimum wage increases. We're seeing so many communities enacting living wage ordinances. People are getting serious about what's going on, and I think that's a great thing. A couple of other cities where we've seen the fast food and retail workers rise up to demand better wages. Chicago, New York, St. Louis. Here in Wisconsin, most of the job growth has been in low-wage industries. As I mentioned before, Wisconsin, we have mostly a manufacturing state that has seen a lot of jobs be outsourced, and whatever the case may be, but we have jobs that we can make good jobs. We have home care jobs. We have janitorial jobs. We have Head Start jobs. One of the things that I liked hearing from Chairwoman Marina Dimitrievich today, Monday, when she spoke to the Democratic Party of Milwaukee County, is when she said that we should have universal pre-K at the state level. I think that's a great idea. I think that, when it comes to the development of our children, we need to invest in that, and by that, creating good quality jobs that won't leave. So these are a couple of the jobs that we can really make good jobs if we help workers empower the level that will help us do so. So here in Wisconsin, workers across the state, from Milwaukee to Madison to Wausau, from companies like McDonald's to Dollar Tree to janitors to call center operators, they're standing up, they're demanding more for their families, and we are supporting these workers at Wisconsin Jobs Now. We've built a coalition. It's called the Living Wage Economic Justice Coalition. Today was a first victory, but we will certainly want many more to come. The next victory we want is to enact living wage laws around the state. We want to put living wage and minimum wage referendums in communities across the state. And we hope to make wages and inequality a huge issue in this coming election, in which voters will have a choice on whether or not they stand with Governor Scott Walker or if they stand with the hardworking folks in the state of Wisconsin. So how you can help? You can sign up, sign a petition that supports low-wage workers, meet with elected officials at the state level and the federal level to tell them that we want the minimum wage, raised to at least 10.10. Look, I think that this minimum wage bill needs to go further, but at the end of the day, 10.10 is a good start. We need to have that number indexed to inflation. We need to tie it to whatever the federal poverty rate is set to in the United States. We need to support these local living wage ordinances and spread the word. And I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I want to open the presentation up for a couple of questions. If folks have them, I would love that, and we can talk further about the importance of raising wages in the state of Wisconsin. Are there folks that have questions?
So a while ago, Ron posted a question. What time period will it take to get to 10.10?
Well, what it's going to take, honestly, is at the state level. We need to make this a really, really big issue in 2014. We have a golden opportunity. We've already put Governor Walker on the defensive. He backed himself into a corner when he said that most of the jobs that the minimum wage would benefit are teenagers that have the jobs. And we know that that's not true. We have data to back it up. We have people to back up that statement. We're organizing workers across the state of Wisconsin, and letting them know that, this is being said. So how we do that is just spread the word about what's going on and how not raising the minimum wage is playing in our communities. The question about whether or not a municipality can set its own minimum wage in Wisconsin. And I'm glad you asked that question, Linnea, and that is actually not true. The minimum wage cannot be set by a municipality in the state of Wisconsin. Unfortunately, sad to say, that law was made under a Democratic governor, but a coalition of folks, such as the Living Wage Coalition this year, worked to make sure that what was crafted out was that local municipalities can set living wage laws, and that's exactly what we did today. We used the power of that bargaining chip that we got, I think back in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, when the minimum wage increase was preempted at the state level. We had to act in some way to make sure that the power of local governments could still be used to raise wages. But that's a really good question, and that does not mean we need to stop pushing the fight at the state level. No matter how much the political situation looks for us, we need to make sure that this issue is made a big issue in 2014.
Your line is now unmuted.
Ron.
Hey, Mike.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question for you. Do you think Abele will vote for this, or do you think he will veto it? And if he does veto it, what will happen? And if he doesn't veto it, what are the consequences? Not the consequences. What are the positive impacts of doing such positive vote?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm thanking you for asking me that. I think that County Executive Chris Abele has a choice. He has a choice on whether or not he's going to stand with the workers, not only that elected him, but the workers that are making sure that this county is ran to the best of its ability, or he can stand with rich developers. It's a clear choice.
All attendees are muted.
At this point, it's a very clear choice.
All attendees are muted.
A choice that he needs to make. The pressure is going to be put on Chris Abele. I hope that he stands with these workers. But whether he stands with them or not, workers are demanding that Chris Abele stand with them regardless. He has a chance to distance himself from our current governor. We already had a county executive that was clearly not on the side of economically challenged communities in Milwaukee County. And now we have an opportunity to change that. Today, Supervisor who voted against the living wage ordinance, she said something that was very intriguing to me. She said that the reason why I'm voting against this ordinance is there's no way for me to know whether or not the people that it will benefit will be Milwaukee County residents. Well, I'm glad County Supervisor David Bowen quickly debunked that by saying, look, there's very few to be able to work these jobs and be able to live outside of Milwaukee County. There's very few people that are working these jobs that are actually living outside of 3 zip codes in the city of Milwaukee. And those zip codes are struggling. Those zip codes have some of the highest levels of poverty in the state of Wisconsin and in the country. So I refute anyone who has the argument that this will only benefit folks that could live outside of the county, because many of these folks can't even afford to get outside of the county, let alone live outside of the county. So Linnea has another question. Strategizing here, could a municipality require this as a requirement for receiving a development grant or loan? Yes, they can. And that is something that we will be pushing at the state level. I don't know if people know this, but the city of Milwaukee gets a lot of community development block grant dollars. And those are allocated to go towards causes like this. They also have the ability to institute home rules that would allow them to be able to raise wages for residents. So that is where the next fight should be. But we need to make sure that this is a statewide conversation that needs to be had. Any other questions? How do you address the type of opinion pieces in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, such as the one Tuesday by economist Mark Doug, the article on the alternate side of yours? Well, I would address that piece by saying, look, we have hardworking people in Milwaukee County that are using our tax dollars to just remain in poverty. I mean, that's not a situation ignore. We do not want to end up like a city that has so many low-wage workers and so many workers that are on public assistance and not able to contribute to this local economy, that we're living in a state of despair. And we're headed towards that. If we don't do something about this now, we are going to see inequality at depression levels. It's getting to the place where the middle class has shrunk so much that this is not something that we need to wait on. We need to do these ordinances. We need to push for the minimum wage to be raised, and we need to make sure that local politicians know that when our tax dollars are used, good jobs need to follow behind that. Any other questions?
So, Mike, this is the place for you to plug your organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will do that proudly. And I want to thank everybody for attending today, and I also want to thank Grassroots North Shore for inviting me. My name is Mike Wilder. Once again, I'm the Community Coalition Coordinator for Wisconsin Jobs Now. We are a membership-based community organization. The members own what goes on in the organization, and I would love it if folks would contact me if you would like to become a member. We are accepting sustainer memberships in our organization for as low as $10 a month. And I think that's something that a lot of folks can. I know money is tight for everybody, but if we can actually own an organization which the people can have power in and actually take control, as those workers, those brave workers did today at the Milwaukee County Courthouse, that would be great. So please contact me. My information could probably be given out by Grassroots North Shore.
You can also type your email address into the chat window. People can copy it from there.
Definitely do that.
Okay, and while Mike's doing that, I'm going to read the obligatory message about who funds this and what our role is. So this webinar service is provided by Grassroots North Shore, Dean Sperry, Treasurer. It is not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee. If you would like to see the presentation in its recorded form, you'll be able to do that from Grassroots North Shore's website, probably also from Wisconsin Jobs Now website. We'll be sending a link to them. So we'll have both the slides and the whole presentation as it was recorded available by sometime tomorrow afternoon. It takes any meeting a little while to get the recordings put together, but they will be there by sometime tomorrow afternoon, and we will be happy to let you download the slides and read them more carefully if you like. And we want to thank Mike for doing a terrific job. Sorry about the technical issues at the beginning, but it all came out well in the end. So, hip, hip, hooray.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. And everybody, try to stay warm.
Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all later.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Bye.